Good afternoon. Good morning, my brother.
Yes, sir.
There are some buildings in Lagos and Abuja that have been collapsing.
Yeah.
And in the Yoruba parlance, we know when the house is weak. And when we know the house is weak, what we usually do is to come out of the house before it falls.
Yeah.
And kill people. But in the Western world, the slightest sign that they see, they will evacuate everybody. So there was a video which I believe you must have seen.
Yes, sir.
Of our friend Dr. Adeboye talking about an hotel that wants to collapse. And for 30 years, that hotel never collapsed though. So I don't know. What is your view about a house that has shown signs of collapsing? Do we still keep people there or we evacuate them? Because in abroad, slightest sign, everybody will be evacuated. So that's my thing today. I believe you have that video. I've listened to the video.
Okay.
And I want us to discuss it.
Okay. Let me see, sir, if I can get the video so that it will come in somewhere here, sir. If you don't mind, you need to give me.
I don't know how to do your things in Nigeria, but where I come from. Any strike of danger is evacuation.
Let me, sir. Oh yes, even in Nigeria, even in Lagos, where houses have been collapsing for like a house of cards for some time.
Okay.
The planning authority generally they visit places where they suspect that there is likely to be, where they suspect the structural integrity of the building, and they generally advise people to vacate the place. In some instances, they actually get people out of the premises and demolish the premises. What people have been saying in Nigeria for some time is that the Lagos state authorities, where most of these collapses have been happening, that they have not been proactive enough to do their duty in getting people out of those premises. But the rule is the same, sir, even in Nigeria, that if the authorities, if there are suspicions that structures are being threatened,
Okay.
structural integrity. If there are suspicions that structures are being threatened, the rule is still the same, sir, that the authorities come to the place, take over the place. If the structures have been so, if the structures is so weakened that they don't see the possibility of any maybe doing some things in the immediate future, what they do is that they simply demolish the structure.
My father in the Lord, myself, and 4 others, we had gone to 𝐾𝐝𝐸 camp meeting, 1979. We stayed in an hotel called Mayo Hotel in Tulsa. Then one morning, my father in the Lord called all of us to his room told us that he will be going to heaven very soon and that I will be succeeding him. It just came in the blue like that. And of course, he was praying in the spirit. The news hit me hard. I crumbled down on the floor. And those who are with me, we all began to pray. We all began to sob and to cry in the spirit. And suddenly there was a knock at the door. I was the one closer to the door, so I opened to the door, and I opened the door, and at the door stood the engineer of the hotel. And his question was, "What kind of instruments are you playing?" I said, "We are not playing any instruments, we are praying." He said, "No." He came in, he looked through the room, he looked under the bed, he looked in the wardrobe, he saw nothing. Puzzled. On his way out, he turned to me again. He said, "What do you say you are doing?" I said, "We are praying." So I asked him, I said, "Why?" He said, "Because the hotel is shaking. And we have traced the source of the shaking to this room." We prayed, and the hotel shook.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
I think this is part of the video that you are talking about, if I'm not mistaken.
This is the video. I had problem with it. Oh. That is the video.
Okay.
That the hotel engineer, instead of evacuating, we'll be looking for the source. It is after evacuation that they will have to look for the source of either the noise or whatever it is. But our brother here said that the van came in and was looking and doing this. So is it that this is a fable? Or I don't know how, what?
Actually, sir, I want to give you some information, sir. The hotel, the name of the hotel is 𝐀𝐝𝐬𝐬𝐿 Hotel.
Okay.
It is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. 𝐀𝐝𝐬𝐬𝐿 Hotel, sir, was the maybe even up to today is the major hotel in Tulsa. It's around that time. I think it was more than 15 floors.
Okay.
So, my Dr. Adeboye and his group, they surely were likely to be in one of the suites of the hotel, maybe on the seventh floor.
Okay.
Maybe on the 7th floor or something like that. Are you with me, sir?
I'm with you.
Yes. So I'm trying to feed you in with some of the elementary features of the hotel.
Okay.
So that when you are making your comment, it will be a little more informed.
Okay.
The hotel was not a bungalow.
No.
The hotel
How
was
many
not.
floors did you call it?
It was at least 15 floors, sir. It was a fairly big hotel, around 12 to 15 floors.
Okay.
Yes, it was one of the major hotels in Tulsa, in the city.
In Oklahoma.
Yes, in Oklahoma, sir. It was the major hotel that Elvis Presley, this big American pop star, used to come and do his performances in the early 70s. Whenever
every equipment, so
oh yes,
very heavy equipment. Good.
Oh yes, it's one of the big hotels in Tulsa, even up to today. So it's not a 2-story building.
Okay.
It's not a 2-story, and it's not a 3-story building. So that when I play the video again with these additional pieces of information, you look at the picture, because our brother is talking to people, many of whom might be thinking that he's talking of a structure of 3 floors or 4 floors.
Just a 2-story building.
Yes. Oh, yes. It is not. The Mayor Hotel was not a 2-story building. Was not a 5-story building. It's a massive structure. It has always been. So, okay. If something happens and somebody suspects that a 10-story building is shaking, as Mr. Adeboye said, the engineer who is on site, what he would do is simply to begin to climb the lift to the upper floors to do better investigation. So apparently this hotel this hotel started shaking from the top.
I can tell you one thing.
Yes, sir.
If any of the clients, any of the people who are in the hotel complain of shaking, they will not wait to look for the source. They will evacuate everybody. So it's not a matter of knocking and asking, are you playing instruments? They will first of all evacuate. And they themselves will leave the hotel before they start checking where is the source of the shaking. So this is a fabulous story. Straight away, there's no need anybody understand that. This is a very, very fabulous story. That the engineer will wait.
Yes.
And be looking for where the thing is. No, they will not wait.
No, actually, according to our pastor, the shaking had been traced to the upper floor.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, before they trace it at all,
no, it was shaking. It was shaking, sir. It was shaking from the foundation, but they discovered that the source of the shaking
is from the whatever floor they are.
Yeah, it was about. Because we are talking of a structure, sir. We are talking of a structure with foundation. We are talking of a structure, and maybe when we are producing this video, I'll try to put the picture of the hotel. So that people will see the hotel is something like the Federal Palace Hotel on Victoria Island.
Yeah, so
it's something like that. It's something like the Federal Palace Hotel. So the hotel is shaking from the foundation, but they are tracing it to an upper. Yes, to some maybe 6, 7, 8, 10 floors upstairs.
Is it when they come with this kind of fabulous story? We call it fabu in those days.
Okay, fables, sir. Fables. Yeah.
They will bring foreign news to Nigeria and take Nigerian news to the foreign people. But we have something like that in the book of Acts.
Yes, sir.
When the disciples prayed, in the book of Acts chapter 4,
No, sir, I think, sir, before we go to the book of Acts, sir,
Yes, sir.
I think there are still quite a few other things, because the book of Acts,
Yes, sir.
is a fast story, it's a long story for now.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we will go to the book of Acts because Dr. Adeboye wants to burnish his own bona fide, as they say. And yes, he wants to tell people that he is as much a man of God as the direct disciples and apostles of Christ. Yes, we know that. That is actually what this story is. Actually, this is one of the stories that he continued to tell people, to give them the impression that, please look at me. I am better than Peter. Yes, I am better than Paul. We will go there. But I think you see, sir, I think that where we started, looking at the world today, at the practical things that would have happened, we still need to talk about that before we go at the Bible, before we go inside the Bible. You see, you are talking about the fables. They are still, I still want us to look at aspects of this story, so that people will begin to see that if a smart aleck is fiddling with their head, a smart aleck is playing some game with their senses somewhere. So, sir, let me see if I can play the video again. I will extend it a little.
Yeah, please play it again. Upon the background of what you said.
Yes, I will extend it beyond this level where you have heard now, because you are going to hear more about this very, very fantastic story, which you call fable.
Ethnic camp meeting, 1979. We stayed in an hotel called 𝐏𝐚𝐬𝐬𝐽𝐿 in Tulsa. Then one morning, the Father in the Lord called all of us to his room, told us that he would be going to heaven very soon, and that I will be succeeding him. Just came in the blue like that. And of course, he was praying the Spirit. Well, the news hit me hard. I crumbled down the floor. And those who were with me, we all began to pray. We all began to sob and to cry in the Spirit. And suddenly there was a knock at the door. I was the one closer to the door, so I opened to the door, and I opened the door, and at the door stood the engineer of the hotel. And his question was, "What kind of instruments are you playing?" I said, "We are not playing any instruments, we are praying." He said, "No." He came in, he looked through the room, he looked under the bed, he looked in the wardrobe, he saw nothing. Puzzled. On his way out, he turned to me again. He said, "What do you say you are doing?" I said, "We are praying." So I asked him, I said, "Why?" He said, "Because the hotel is shaking. And we have traced the source of the shaking to this room." We prayed, and the hotel shook. Of course, they didn't believe it was our prayer that shook the hotel. So after we left, they closed down the hotel. They dug around the foundation to see if there's something wrong. They couldn't find anything wrong, but they refused to reopen the hotel for 30 years. After 30 years, I went to visit Tulsa again. My wife, my children, and some of my friends, and my beloved friend, Pastor Stephen. So we went to that hotel. And that's the hotel where we prayed. And the hotel shook. And I felt a compassion in me that we had prayed, and this hotel had been closed for 30 years. So quietly, I moved close to the hotel, touched the wall, and prayed a quiet prayer. And it was reopened a year later.
You allow me, sir.
There are so many things in it. Firstly, his father did not think he was going to heaven.
Yes.
There was a shaking which they didn't realize. The engineer waited until they left before they closed the hotel.
Yeah,
30 years later, he had compassion. I don't know whether you heard that, though. He had compassion. God was waiting for him to have compassion.
Yes, yes. At least you have heard a little more now about the marvelous life and the marvelous life and experiences of a fairy. Sir, when let me give you a story. When my children, when they were about starting school, elementary school in Lagos, I went to I made the investigation, which we were living around Ogba at that time, and we were now looking for which school will really be okay.
A good school for that matter.
Yes, a good school that will actually. So one of the schools in Ikeja, and I think around that time it was the best school in Ikeja for kindergarten, nursery, and primary. The school was very close to, was one of the streets that connects Obakra.
Okay.
I'm not going to give the name of the school, but around in the mid 90s, the school was a very good school. The school was started around 1963, so it wasn't a new school.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a new school, and it had reputation. One of those days, they were making a kind of book festival, children's book festival, and they were asking parents to come to participate. So many children's educational materials came from Britain, were on display in the school. So one of those, therefore, I was there since I was there because my first son was there. I think my two of my first children, they were there. So I started going through the materials, the British educational materials for nursery, Yeah, for nursery, for early primary, for middle primary. They were storybooks. They were storybooks. Very well written, sir. I want to tell you that one. The books were very well written, with some drawings and the rest of them. So I stood there on the bookstand, and I started checking and checking and checking, because I wanted to be sure what I was going to buy for my children. And I discovered that most of the British primary school storybooks were about elves, gnomes, spirits. In my native Yoruba language, sir, the books were basically about what the Yorubas call 𝐏𝐴𝐽. Most of the English children's story books were about 𝐏𝐴𝐽.
𝐏𝐴𝐽.
That is, sir. You know, we were privileged to have came from the hinterland. So I was familiar with those stories. And I stood there that day, one book after the other, I was browsing them. They were about one fantastic creature jumping out of the water, jumping out of the sky, carrying a grandma, maybe giving milk to the dog, all those kind of things.
Why the British one was on earth, on things, practical things that children can relate with.
Yes,
but the one of the Yoruba are those things you can never relate with. Or
the one the British brought to Nigeria in the early 90s, they were basically storybooks on 𝐏𝐴𝐽, on spirit. So apparently what Dr. Adeboye is doing is to re-export, so to speak, the fables about the elves, about the gnomes, about the spirits who had acquired flesh and that kind of thing, and they were doing things. Yes, I heard him saying that it was in his magnanimity. His magnanimity after 30 years, he had pity on the hotel.
Yes, he said he has compassion.
Oh yes, he had compassion. Yes, sorry, sir. He had compassion on.
That is his magnanimity. I mean, if he hadn't compassion, the place will still be closed. Only God knows when he had that compassion. Maybe 20 years back or so.
No, 30 years. He said 30, sir. 30 years, sir.
No. I mean, when he had the compassion, the thing was closed for 30 years. He had compassion after 30 years.
Yes, sir. No, they didn't have compassion at the initial stage, sir. It was only after 30 years the compassion, the tree of compassion grew on him. The oil of compassion came on him after 30 years. And he now remembered that the investors in the hotel, many of them would have died. Many of them would have died in penury. The workers many of them would have perished.
Yeah.
And
about 80% of those who are involved that 30 years ago, there won't be anything. Some will have died.
No. A good number. 30 years is a long time, sir, anywhere in the world. The good number of the managing director, the general manager, the chief chef, all those, the waiters and the rest of them, a good number of them would have died, and their children too would have been unable to go to school because they won't have money to send them to school. Because as it is now, sir, as it was, the God of Dr. Adeboye actually was not as compassionate as Dr. Adeboye.
Esther, before you go there.
Yes, sir.
If the story had gone that they were evacuated, if they were evacuated and they asked what is the reason, we would have understood that.
That was a possibility.
But that was a possibility. But the engineer will wait. We will go to that compassionate grant. The engineer will wait. The hotel management will wait.
The local authority too will wait.
When they know that what it will cost them, if anybody dies in that hotel, that makes the story fabulous. Make the story untrue. If they had said they packed all of them out and they asked what is the reason, and they said the hotel was shaking, and probably after that but they left them after the man found out that there was problem there until they left.
Yeah. A 15-story structure was shaking violently.
That was a lie. I don't know anybody, but the problem, we know where we live. We know we live in the Western world. Any atom of shaking, when the building is losing integrity, the first thing is to evacuate before they start searching. And like I said, I wasn't, because the supporter of these people, they will go to Acts chapter 4, and verse 31, and they will say, and when they are prayed, the place was shaking where they were assembled together. This is exactly what he was replicating.
He was trying to replicate.
Yes, he was replicating this. So, but for them to know that the place where the apostles were was not a story building. And the apostles that were there knew that the place was shaking. Adeboye and his people never knew the place was shaking. It was until the engineer came that informed, in fact, when he was going, was when he informed them that the place was shaking. Sir, I don't know.
Sir, you are raising another issue. That Adeboye and his gang in the suite, they didn't know that the structure was shaking.
Yes, just like Acts 4:31, those people were the one who knew that the place was shaking.
But in Adeboye's case, they maybe you know there's something they call Cloud 9.
Cloud 9, okay.
Yes, sir. Is it not possible that these people, you said that they were praying in the spirit, they were doing everything in the spirit. Is it not possible that the spirit are taking them away so much that they were not even aware of that the structure where they were was now shaking violently, was about to collapse?
It's a fabulous story, pure and simple. I never said they didn't gather together. I never said they didn't pray. But the story does not add up. The owners of the hotel knew that the integrity of the hotel had, been proven to be not to be there. This is not Nigeria. This is Tulsa in Oklahoma.
Sir, let me tell you something, sir. Which is another piece of information for your consideration, sir. Dr. Adeboye and his people, they went to the hotel in 1979
79.
Yes, around July, sir. It was in summer, 1979. The hotel was closed down. So I don't know whether you are aware, sir. The hotel was closed down, not in 1979, not in 1980, but in 1981. The hotel was actually closed down. But the owners of the hotel waited for another 2 years
to close it down.
To close a hotel that had been vibrating since Enoch Adeboye and his people came in.
For the purpose of people.
And again, sir, please, sir. Actually, the hotel, the name of the hotel was Mayo Hotel.
Mayo Hotel, okay.
Mayo Hotel. Mayo Hotel was not the only hotel closed down in 1981 in Tulsa.
And was it due to vibration?
No, I won't answer that question yet. I'm only giving you information that some other hotels and businesses, in fact, other businesses were closed down. In fact, sir, you know an hotel. An hotel is in service industry.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so by the time an hotel is closing down, some other industries have closed down earlier. Businesses had collapsed in other industries before hotels will start closing down. The little I'm telling you, sir, is that when Mayo Hotel closed down in 1981, sir, Mayo Hotel was not the only hotel that closed down in Tulsa in 1981. Many other hotels closed down. Many businesses in the city actually collapsed also. Yes, sir. What we have in records was that was due to the economic downturn.
I know.
In the city. So apparently, Dr. Adeboye, looking for stories to tell, was connecting the incidents of Mayo Hotel, which didn't close down for another 2 years after he left the place, and connecting it to himself, to his own prayer. And the other thing I was trying to say the other time was that since he was affirming that the hotel closed down by virtue of his own holiness, as an example, as an expression of his own holiness. Yes, it took him 30 years. It took him 30 years for him to wake up from the sleep of his holiness. To remember that some people's livelihood would have been destroyed by the show of his holiness. Dr. Adeboye's God was ready to destroy life and livelihood of hundreds of people in order to tell the world how powerful Dr. Adeboye's prayer can be. That is, I don't know, that is one of the sad things that I'm seeing in this story.
I'm looking at the record now. The hotel was closed down for 28 years. I've not even gotten, I think we need to put that in there. The hotel was closed down in 2 years after, for 28 years, not 30 years.
Not 30 years. No, sir. I told you it was closed in 1981, not 1979.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yes. No, what I'm saying is that as people could see, maybe somebody with a little sense. Yes, with a little, just a little, not much, could begin to ask the question, the kind of person that Dr. Adeboye's God is. The nature of the being that Dr. Adeboye's God is. That Dr. Adeboye's God, in order to put up a show, for the sake of putting up a show, his God is ready to destroy life and livelihood for personal aggrandizement
of Adeboye.
Of Adeboye. So that Adeboye can come and say, you can see how big, how powerful, how great I am. His God. He's so heartless that he's ready to destroy life and livelihood, if only to prove that. And his God, Adeboye actually, apparently, as I said, Adeboye has more compassion than his God.
Oh, yes, that's what I wanted to say, that Adeboye is more compassionate than his God. Yeah. Definitely, his God is not the God of the Bible. Period.
Oh, no. It's that is for anybody. Anybody who has a little sense about who God is. In another way, this is somebody who is blaspheming against God. What I've just said, if anybody is still asleep, to realize that what I'm saying are blasphemies against God. Dr. Adeboye blasphemed against God virtually every moment. Virtually everything, you know, I've been saying that virtually everything this man says is against the glory and the majesty and the goodness of God.
It beats me all over. And I love the way you said it. Anybody that has little sense, we are not demanding for a big one, though.
You don't need it.
Little will have known that the God of the Bible didn't do what he said he did, because that must be a wicked God. But the most important thing is that the record never showed that it was closed down in 1979.
No, it was not closed down in 1979. It was closed down in 1981.
Not in 1980.
No, yeah.
It was only in 1981.
And because of the economic downturn.
Yes, and it was never because of the loss of integrity.
No, sir. If it were for the loss of integrity, the hotel would have been brought down.
So, because the hotel was built around 1920 something.
Yes, sir. It's an old structure, but solid.
Any building, the integrity is sure within 50 years. So in 1987, 1979,
yes, sir,
the hotel was 52 years old.
Yeah.
52, 54 years old, thereabouts. So if there's anything that they needed to shut down and do some reinforcement.
No, they would have destroyed the hotel.
No, they could even do the reinforcement to make sure that the integrity is sure for some other time. They could do that.
They will not have done that, sir. Given the kind of story that Dr. Adeboye is saying about how violent the hotel was shaking. because
are you looking at the integrity of that story is none. None. The integrity of that story is zero. Zero. It's a manufactured story. It was in the hotel. They could pray. But what he said happened never happened. Never. That's my point. That's my way I stand. I'm not saying they didn't pray. I'm not saying they didn't sleep in the hotel. But that thing, even about his own God, he was lying against his God.
No, it wasn't, sir. It wasn't lying against his God. It wasn't lying against it. No, it wasn't, sir. The only thing was that his God is not the Father of the Lord Jesus Christ.
No. It couldn't have been. I'm not talking of the God of the Bible. Whoever his God was, or is, he must be telling lie about that God, because that God never did what he said he did. Because we can see what happened. The thing was shut down because of economic downturn, not because of any shaking. Because of truth, sir. Any slight shaking. Forget about that shaking, no. Slight. That day, they will evacuate all the people. And the hotel will shut down until the authority allow them to open. They will not even allow the authority to come and shut it down. They will shut it down themselves. So that they wouldn't have to pay compensation if the thing came down. You know, in America, there are laws. If those things happen, the insurance will have been in trouble. And those people will not allow that thing to happen. Never. So there are holes in those stories. And the holes that are in those stories are simply to edify himself, to preach himself. That was what I'm saying. His God didn't send him that. His own God, not the God of the Bible. He was only manufacturing that lie to edify himself, to call himself something. And that's why I went to that Acts 4:31 to show that, yes, of truth, the apostle prayed. And the place where they are praying shook. We don't have that story for another 2,000 years until Adeboye came on scene.
No, actually, sir. You say, you know, this particular story is just a small bit, a little bit of the series of stories of fantastic tales that you know, sir, in the 70s and 80s there were this television series, Tales of the Unexpected. There were these various fantastic tales that Dr. Adeboye has been manufacturing for himself. And yes, I want to let our audience know that what we are doing, we are the people that love Enoch Adeboye most on this planet Earth today. We love him more than his wife. We love him more than his children. We love him more than anybody. He's not having one
following him. Any psychopath that has been believing and been listening to him and thinking that what he said right.
Yes, because we are telling him and people around him that the person they are serving is not the God of the universe. He's the father of lies. It is the father of lies that will give you fairy tales to tell in church in order to project a non-existent power, a non-existent holiness, a non-existent effectiveness.
Relationship with God.
Yes, that is not there.
That was what led him to drinking tea with God, though. That's what led him to anointing in the ground, though. That's what led him to all those stories.
Yeah. So
I challenge him and all people who follow him to open Google and look at that story. Open Google, find out, do anything, and I challenge him to come and say the thing outside on the television.
It's very sad, sir. I hope and I pray, sir, that sir, both Enoch Adeboye, his family, his children, and his followers, that one day, before it is too late, they realize what we are saying, that they do not have anything to do with the God of the universe, with the Lord Jesus Christ. Nothing. Because Jesus Christ will never tell you to lie.
No.
In order, for any reason whatsoever, talk less of lying so that you might promote him.
What you are saying is another thing. You are opening another can of worm. Because some people are quoting Paul when he was talking about preaching the gospel with deceitful. But this is not gospel, no. This is preaching himself. To show that he has a kind of relationship with, and the one that Paul was talking in Philippians chapter 1, when he said, some indeed preach Christ, even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. It wasn't said that they are lying. Oh.
No, they were not lying. No. They were not lying.
Because the one preach Christ of contention, they were trying to outsmart each other. Yeah. That was what he was saying. He was not saying they were preaching it to lie.
No.
Because I've asked somebody who came to me and said that even Paul said that some people are preaching. I said, no. Read this.
It's ignorance.
It wasn't said that they were lying.
No.
And
no.
That's a disclaimer. You and I are the best of miracle. That is, knowing Christ, that's the best of the miracle.
Oh, yes, of course. According to the Bible.
Every other thing that has no eternal value, manufactured or even real. There's so many things he has manufactured. There was one I heard him saying. He said he was going to Ilorin. There was a bridge that could contain only one vehicle.
Okay.
And his vehicle goes inside. Then another trailer came in and they were coming with a speed. And he said, Jesus, he just found himself at the other side. I don't know which year he was talking about. But I knew that the road between Ibadan to Ilorin had been made since 1971 or so. Yeah. And there are no long bridges. There are short bridges on small rivers. That what he was saying never happened. Never.
There's no one-lane bridge on that road.
Say that again, sir.
I said there's no bridge on that road that has only one lane.
No. He was claiming like the thing was look like Carter Bridge. When one person enter one place, Carter Bridge is 2 lane anyway. As long as Carter Bridge, there are no rivers between Ibadan and I can name the rivers. I can name them one by one.
There has been none of them that could take only one vehicle at a time.
No. So he has been manufacturing stories. To what end? Only God knows.
No, yeah, it's been manufacturing stories in order to get followers, in order to get people who will follow him. Yes, who will follow him, and who will think that they're actually following somebody God has been speaking specially to. That's the reason why he has been manufacturing stories, and because he has made good manufacturing stories. He has forgotten that a night is coming when he will sleep and he will not wake up, and he will have to stand face to face before the Lord Jesus Christ with his maker. And the warning we are given in this video, we are giving it not only to him alone, we are giving it to everybody following them, that these people, these are not servants of the Lord Jesus Christ.
No,
these are servants of Satan, that Satan has prepared. Satan had removed them from their training, from their lecturer work, from their medical work, from their whatever, and has brought them forward to teach lies. Basically.
Okay. Thank you for putting lies, because
yes,
in John chapter 8, Jesus called Satan the father. He said he has been lying before, the father of all lies. So
yes,
anybody manufacturing story, of course, when we say manufacture, it's a fabricated story.
Yeah, fabricated
it's
story.
A lie. If his father and his teacher and his God is Satan.
Yes, that's the sad thing.
So don't think that we are abusing anybody. We're not. We are simply saying what is in the scripture. What is in the scripture? From the beginning, his father in the Lord wanted to choose him as the successor. They were praying in the spirit. Yeah, to the end. Any one of you, go and check Google. We will put it there. You will see why that place was shut down.
No, why most businesses, not that place, most businesses in Tulsa were shut down for about 20 years. Yes, most businesses, many businesses in Tulsa, not that place alone.
I challenge him to put his picture where he went there, to put his hand there, and it is started. It's a lie.
They are lies, sir. It's
I just pray that people who have ears abuse us, do whatever you want to do, but find out the truth. Find out the truth. Hate this video.
Yeah, actually, the other thing is that I want to advise people to react. It's in the interest of everybody. Please, when you watch a video, please react anyhow. Either even if you show dislike, as far as YouTube is concerned, they use it to promote it. That, oh, people watch this video and they dislike it. So you don't even need to show only like. Try and show dislike, comment, and do whatever. Yes, that's another series. That's another thing. But when we are talking seriously, we are talking about God. These videos they are to serve as warning to whoever come by them. Our videos are to serve as warning, so that people will begin to take God a little more seriously. People will remember that. They are not going to be around forever. People will remember that God can call anybody home at any time.
Yes, sir.
You can ask anybody to come and give account of how he lives, whether you actually believe in Christ or not. God, it can happen anytime. So our videos are to warn people so that they become aware about the truth of God.
Yeah.
I believe this is what these videos are for.